I'm about to feed them to the sharks right now. Get them hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it go. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.
Welcome to episode 110 of the BJJ Campaign podcast. My name's Jeff Boone. I'm an A3 purple belt, one stripe.
Phil Coors, A2 purple belt, one stripe.
Exciting Gordon Ryan news.
Can't wait.
Well, I haven't quite signed up for my Coinbase wallet just yet to be able to purchase the NFT that he's offering. He's sold 54 out of 101 so far. Mm-hmm. It's one Ethereum, just for an update for the fans. And he added functionality of one of those people in that 101 lottery will get 3 days all expense paid trip down to train with him in 3 sessions a day, generally about 6 to 7 hours on the mat. So if you have one out of 100, like what are those odds? Who says I'm just getting one?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Buy them all up just to get the opportunity.
50-50. Yeah. Yeah, that would really be tough if you bought 50 and still didn't get it.
That would be horrible. That would be horrible. But yeah, so I mean, 54, I guess it's been on the market probably about 3-4 weeks on the NFT.
Yeah.
So
no idea.
Ethereum's at like 28 something now. It's went down, so it's actually more of a bargain now than it was before.
It's true.
Probably got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see.
Well, if they don't sell out, we'll probably keep adding a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true.
Stuff to it. You know,
that's a good point.
But he puts out a lot of content, so
yeah, he's got the pins now. That's his latest, right? The pin escapes.
Is it? I don't know.
Or pinning. Well, he did pin escapes, and then I think he's doing pinning for.
I've seen Wiltshire been putting out a lot of stuff. He did like a 30-minute breakdown of like some kid's roll. It's actually pretty good.
I watched it. The blue belt kids.
Mount stuff. I thought it was really good.
He's great at it, man. You know, he's got all
really
kinds
good
of
breakdown stuff, really good points. And then it was edited super well. I didn't realize he was like selling something with it, but like obviously good. But it was really well done where when he's giving suggestions, he's kind of like side-by-siding clips to be like, this is what I would have done different. So that was, I thought that was a really cool video.
Well, I mean, he is, his nickname is the Wizard, right? But I think he's a wizard with the computer stuff. I mean, he's a big gamer.
Yeah, that was in his, like, when he lived in the pallet shack that kind of looks like my chicken coop I made. Yeah. It looks like.
Except inside, a little cooler.
Yeah. Inside, he had like a nice, like, computer, and I'm like,
yeah.
All right. Well, so it was funny.
Yeah.
But I think there is some, I've heard this or seen this a lot, but like the people who get like obsessive over stuff, like I have in the past with video games and stuff too, like that, that tends to like carry over. So his obsessiveness from that went to jiu-jitsu and now may go to the instructional stuff too, because it's the way to make money for them.
Oh, for sure. For sure, man. And that's a great story for those of you out there who haven't seen Andrew Wiltsey and his buzzsaw passing system. Fantastic. It really good, really good instructional, and also he's a great competitor and also watch Daisy Fresh. I mean, it's
the YouTube documentary I thought was interesting to watch because like, I don't know, I like jiu-jitsu a lot, but I don't know if I wouldn't have done what they did.
No, dude, they lived basically outside of a terrible laundromat with wrestling mats inside of it. That's still there, and that's what their main Pedigo submission fighting, for everyone who doesn't know what Daisy Fresh is about. Heath Pedigo, and they've just absolutely had some incredible competitors, and Andrew Wiltsey being one of the top in their team, then Jacob Couch, and then what's the other guy, the Australian guy? He's pretty funny. I follow him on Instagram. You remember?
I know who you're talking about.
Spatchzilla is his Instagram, but he's pretty funny. But just a tremendous competitive team. And now Mikey Musumeci's on their team. And yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, he joined about 6 months ago.
Why?
Because he wanted a professor. And Heath's his professor.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Who was he under before?
I have no idea. I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. But also news on that front. Did you see his
that,
match?
Like, doesn't seem to fit in. Like, his personality doesn't fit in with all that.
Did you see who Mikey Musumeci fought?
Yeah.
Who?
My buddy Imanari.
That's right.
He's just like 43. So.
Did you see that back take he did?
It was quick.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I rewound that and watched that like 50 times. I was like, you know what? I'm just never going to be able to do that. I mean, maybe, but not like that.
It wasn't difficult.
It was just fast.
He was up on the side and he put his knee in because there was space.
It was just fast.
Yeah.
Everybody watched that. He won $50,000 bonus for that. He choked. The result of the match was, I think it was 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 40 seconds.
Well, I thought it was 4 minutes.
Was it 4 minutes? Maybe it was.
I don't know. You could be right. I don't know.
It was 3 or 4 minutes, probably.
That's what I was talking with somebody about it, and I was like, it was a 4 minute match. You smoked him. He's like, you can't smoke somebody if it's 4 minutes. I'm like, it's jiu-jitsu. That is smoking somebody. Like,
yeah,
it takes a long time.
Anything less than 10 minutes on a submission is smoking them. Yeah. But just dominant in position. Positionally, he was dominant too. You know?
The footlock stuff, I still don't know. Like, that looks back and forth. I didn't expect him to tap the ankle lock thing that he had in the beginning. The announcers said it looked tight. I'm sure it was tight, but I just don't see a guy who's 20 years old tap into a footlock, like a straight ankle lock. Just don't see it.
Yeah, no. I mean, I agree. And plus, I mean, he's known to have very flexible feet. I mean, that is one of the things he's known for. So, yeah.
What's the other one? Pizza?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a little pizza oven. He makes
and he's
it every day.
125, right? 135?
He fluctuates, right? Between his world championships, I believe, are at 125 with Bruno Valfacine. He's got, I think he's either got 4 or 5 of those. But I think they're at 125. We were talking about
this yesterday because Joey claimed that Mikey was a better American competitor than Gordon Ryan because he's won in the gi and no gi.
I mean, that could certainly be made. That argument could be made, but it doesn't hold any water because he hasn't won an ADCC.
Okay, so you value ADCC higher than no-gi. So no-gi Worlds would just be the IBJJF.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon Ryan went into no-gi Worlds.
Also, I learned you can't Imanari roll in the IBJJF.
Fuck IBJJF then.
Because apparently that's... I was calling it a takedown.
Reaping? It's considered reaping.
No? It's entering the guard without points of contact. Because I said
you could if you had the hand.
I don't think it's enough points of contact. I think
1. Do you need more than 1?
I don't know the rules. Never have.
No, probably I know you never ever looked into those.
Interested. So I just do what feels right.
That's a terrible idea.
Because he was going to teach a takedown class, and I said, "Are you doing Imanari rolls?" And he said, "No." I said, "I'm not coming." So he said, "That's not a takedown; it's a sweep." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wait, how can you have a sweep if you hadn't had a takedown?
Because you're in the guard. Because you're using your legs. It's entering into the guard. And he said, that's why you can't do it in IBJJF. And he said, that's why I've never seen it in any of the no-gi worlds. And I said, the other reason is because I've never watched them.
Okay, hold on. I want to go through this.
Watched Jack's match.
I want to go through this. So if you Imanari roll, you get them, and then you come up on top. Wouldn't that be a takedown?
No, it's a sweep.
I don't know.
Because you're on the ground, probably.
Oh, no. Well, if you're on the ground, yes.
And then you're entering with your legs and making contact with your legs, which is the open guard. So you are essentially, in a way, you're entering into the guard without any points of contact.
Okay, let's argue about this. I'm set. My argument's set.
Okay.
So then what you're saying is if you do a judo throw where you actually just trip someone because you're in the legs, it's a sweep because you're in the guard because you use your legs?
That would be if you didn't have any upper body grips.
Okay. So I'll give you for example.
Okay.
You're, the single Koichi that you were watching there with Gordon Ryan, whenever you're in the guard or the open guard and they step and you put their foot out. So if they step.
How did he get to the guard first?
So look, here it is. So you're circling, you take your foot and sweep their foot out as they're stepping out and they fall and you go into their guard. So that's only your feet.
Right.
Nothing else.
But
it's not a sweep. It's a takedown. That just like the Imanari roll.
No, that would be a takedown because you're already in the guard.
So
the question was, how do you enter the guard? So as to why it's not a takedown. So a takedown would have had to happen, or pulling of the guard would have to happen first before you do that Koichi sweep, right?
No.
Well, then you can't just pull guard that way is what they're saying.
It's not pulling guard. What I'm saying...
You can't sit to the guard with no contact.
That's, Phil, it's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying if you're up, you're both standing, and just like if you were sitting, whenever you do the foot sweep and get on top, right? You know which one I'm talking.
You're talking about just standing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Back to you, and you sweep them like that.
No, they're not turning their back to you.
Well, they're stepping. They're cross stepping.
No, they're not cross stepping.
They're not gripping you.
They're not cross stepping.
That's how you do that. Is when they step across and you kick their foot across and take their back. Right? Is what you're talking about.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the one where you just sit them down. Do you remember? It's not a cross step. So whenever they just shuffle step and their foot's up, and you take that foot and you pull, you pull it, but they sit on their butt. They sit on their butt.
You spin them around.
No, you don't spin them around. They sit on their butt. That's not the one. I know the one. I know the one you're talking about, but you don't do that one. You do the one where you sit on their butt.
The dummy sweep.
It's kind of a dummy sweep, but dummy sweep is both legs. You've got your feet behind both ankles. This one is they're stepping and you're taking their plant out of their step, and they just fall on their butt.
Facing you or facing away?
Facing me.
You're going to have to show me this sweep. Like when you're holding the shin to shin.
Dude, you've done it. I don't know how you don't know this.
I mean,
my description is spot on.
Because
I think everyone will agree.
Is when they're stepping across and you take their foot and then they turn.
Not step across. Nobody ever steps across. Who steps across? Nobody crosses their feet.
People toreandoing.
No.
Maybe that's what I should be doing.
No. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. But whenever they're shuffling, for the audience, you're not gonna hear this, but I'm standing up and giving an illustration because Phil's obviously thick in the head this morning because he's only had 7 cups of coffee. So hold on. So whenever they're going like this, and then you take this one, there.
Oh,
that one.
Okay.
Illustration helped.
That makes sense. I don't remember that one. I know what you're saying.
You've done it to me.
No, I don't.
Yes, you have.
I don't think so.
You 100% have.
I think
not standing, sitting when you were sitting.
Yeah, but standing, I don't think that's going to work if you're not making grips, and I don't think you're going to be in a distance you can do that where they're not gripping you.
We're in a hypothetical situation, Phil.
Well, I
hypothetical situation.
You're wrong.
I'm not. I think you have no leg to stand on in this situation.
Good. Yeah, that's good. So I think the problem is in that situation that to do the takedown, you would have to grab them with your hands.
I don't think you would, man. I think that's a quick thing. Whenever you do it, you could. I mean, obviously, you might push them with on a shoulder.
How much chi were you using in this takedown? Where
you
don't
all
use
of
your
it.
hand. A lot of chi.
The answer is all of it.
So you sweep them and chi them in the chest, because that's what it sounds like you're saying would work.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know why we go. Oh, because Imanari. I just
not a takedown.
Sweep that.
I mean, I was heartbroken. I'm still going to do it like a takedown.
Yeah, I'm still going to call it a takedown too. I don't believe the sweep thing.
According to the rules, it's not. And this is someone I would trust to actually read the rules.
Oh, sure, for sure. Joey's read the rules. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I trust the judgment. It changes nothing about my approach to takedowns. It will be Imanari roll or nothing.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think that's a wise strategy. So that was good. What else? What else was going on? Oh, had some people compete. Everybody did well in competition. That was really good.
You going to the one tomorrow?
Tap Cancer out tomorrow, right? Phil is competing in that, not you, Phil. Big Phil.
Good call. Well, many people are calling me that.
That's on the agenda to talk about Jacked Phil. For the first time, ladies and gentlemen, Phil's shirts are tight in the sleeves.
Super tight, yeah. Super tight.
But we will talk about that. So Tap Cancer out, yeah.
Michael's competing.
Who Michael is competing?
I think Joey is.
Is he? Okay. Nice.
I don't know. I'm just making that up because he usually does.
Where is it?
It's in Charlotte, which is out of my range.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I went to the one in Mount Holly. That was in the range.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's 10 minutes from your house. Yeah, you can do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's in Charlotte somewhere. It's only gi, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's because usually in those things, he usually does some super fights. Not just the tournament. He usually has a couple, and usually there's a no gi.
Oh, yeah. This one's only gi. I don't know. Maybe that's only for lower, like white and blue belts. But Michael told me it was only gi.
Okay.
Because he said the whole thing should be moving quickly. Like it should be a quicker event because there's no no-gi.
That's Jonathan Thomas who puts that on. And he actually, this past year, moved to Charlotte.
From Home Improvement, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
That is not him.
Not the same guy?
Not the same guy.
Okay.
Not the same guy.
I don't know why that popped in my head immediately when you said that name.
Who? I don't even know. Is that the kid?
Was that one of the kids from
I remember the blonde kid, right?
Yeah, he was like a heartthrob.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was in some other stuff. I can't remember any of it.
That's hilarious. But it's the coffee. You get firing on all cylinders.
Throwbacks.
But yeah, he actually, if you follow him on Instagram, he recently moved to Charlotte, but also he does really cool stuff with a lot of De La Riva stuff and a lot of Berimbolo stuff and the Matrix style stuff. You know, that's what I do. That's kind of my game, but not at all. But so that's he's a good follow on Instagram. He always has some really good stuff. Also, passing De La Riva, he does some nice stuff on passing De La Riva too. So if you're interested, Jonathan Thomas. Let's talk about this, Phil. So you've been lifting weights now for how long?
Probably a month.
And you've been on the sauce for how long?
3 months. I was hoping I would just do it by itself. It didn't work.
That's hilarious. It's been longer than a month you've been lifting, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it is.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a couple months, at least.
Yeah. Probably feels that way to you.
Well, I mean, the results speak for themselves.
That's true.
So what kind of routine are you doing, and why are you doing it?
Oh, so I can be stronger than people. It just seems like things would be easier. The weights are heavy. Not really a fan. I don't know how people get into this. Like, I don't know how people get into this the way we've gotten into jiu-jitsu.
And there are people who do.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either,
because,
man.
like, don't get me wrong. I bitch about every exercise that's suggested. I'm like, that sounds ridiculous.
Why are we doing that? I bet Michael's so sick of hearing you.
Why would you do that to yourself? You know, and they're like, we're going to do this for 30 minutes. I'm like, what do you mean? So it's crazy.
30? What are you doing for 30 minutes?
Like he does circuit type stuff where it's like 20, 20, 20. And then he's like, you can take a 20-second break. I'm like, oh, I will. Like, at least like take a 20-second break, you know? So then you do that for 20 or 30 minutes or whatever.
So how long, are you just lifting for 20 or 30 minutes? Is that the length of it or no?
I am. He's doing much more. A lot of talking out of me.
Well,
a lot of breaks. So,
well, he's a lot stronger than
he's
you.
a lot better at exercising than I am. But some of it's getting easier. You know, you can tell a little bit. I started writing some of the stuff down. He likes to do kettlebell stuff, so I don't write any of that down because that shit's fake. Like I'm trying to like just go with it, because he's really like on this whole kettlebell thing.
What about kettlebells is fake?
They just don't. They're not real. They're not like a barbell or like a dumbbell.
Okay, but they're functional movements.
Yeah, you sound
That's
like it
all
now.
I use.
Yeah, shows.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, so I do that stuff, but like I don't write
so
that down.
This is going to be exactly like jiu-jitsu. So you're going to have to for 6 months debate the way that
I did 20 swings with the little one. I wrote that down. And then it's like later it'll be a little bit bigger one.
It's going to be just like jiu-jitsu. He's going to have to actually reinforce it all the time for 6 months, and you can be like, oh, you know what? These kettlebells are really doing some work. Thanks.
Kicking and screaming the whole way. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, no, I don't hate it as much as I thought. If I was doing it by myself, I just wouldn't do it.
No, it's terrible.
Just flat out won't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to be motivated to do that.
But yeah.
You know what I do to keep myself motivated? I just buy a new piece of equipment. I just bought a curl bar.
Oh.
Just yesterday. I was like,
those all do.
Of course. I mean, those are.
I will always do a few extra curls.
No legs, just curls.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my motivation is to get out to the garage and lift. Is I just buy a new piece of equipment and then I'll do it for a week.
Yeah.
And then not do it anymore.
You don't want to get hurt.
No, exactly.
You're in this for the long haul.
Exactly. Precisely. Phil.
25 curls and then take a week to recover. Yeah. That was kind of my approach. I have to find it, but Craig Jones, I think back when like Gordon was putting out like a workout thing, he put out a YouTube video where he just goes in every piece of equipment in the gym and curls. And
I'd love it. I've seen it. It's hilarious.
I have to go back and find that because that's so good.
It is hilarious.
It's just the only thing that matters.
And I think he did it in his little leopard print Speedos too.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So that's always entertaining.
Yeah,
I really wonder. I'm going to get the full story one of these days about why they split up.
When you go down there, when you're selected.
Whenever I'm selected as the 1 in 101, maybe. But yeah, there's more to that story than anybody's telling. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? I'm excited. I would love to see Nicky Rod and Gordon Ryan go.
Do they still train together?
No, Nicky Rod's B team.
He's on the other one.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of weird. Like Nicky Ryan is also on the B team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me.
He still has knee issues?
He was still not fully recovered from his surgery because he was supposed to have a match with Jacob Couch. That's whenever Gordon filled in. And but yeah, so I don't know. I haven't seen or heard anything. I haven't seen him post lately on Instagram either. I don't know.
See, Danaher put out a post the other day that was like 4 sentences long.
No.
Yeah.
Impossible.
It was really weird.
What was it? What was it about?
I don't remember. Just had no impact because it was so short.
Well, you don't remember the long ones either.
Yeah. You bring up good counterpoint. Yeah. It was funny because I was like, well, that was quick. It's like 4 sentences. Yeah.
Interesting. He's not known for his economy of words.
It's true.
Yeah. So Marshall wrote us and said, "Hey, can you talk about training injured?
Mm-hmm.
Not training hurt, because if you're hurt and you need to be off the mat and take time, then do that."
Backwards.
It is right. Am I backwards?
I think you're backwards on the saying.
How to train when hurt, not injured?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hurt or are you injured?
I don't know.
I feel like if it hurts, you're okay. If you're injured, you have to take time off.
See, I feel like if you're hurt, that's more of an acute. Like you gotta hurt. I can't.
It hurts.
No. If it just hurts,
Does it hurt? Or
fuck your feelings. Go in.
Yeah, I think
it just hurts.
I think that's the saying.
But if you are hurt, I don't know.
You can't use the same word.
Wait, why?
You just use the same word twice for both definitions. You said if it hurts, fuck your feelings.
Yeah.
But if you are hurt, go in and train. So you can't do it that way. You have to separate those words.
Okay. You guys get what we're going at. I don't know.
I think we can go into this a little more.
Can't. The problem is I'm not married to either of them. Like I don't really know.
I was ready to go to battle over this, but all right, we can move on.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't.
I could be wrong.
I mean, I won't agree with you, but I could on this point. Anyway, if you've not got any major issues that you really have to take off for,
then you're not training hard enough.
Right. But, I'll give a for example. You give a for example, Phil. You've trained while you were hurt before.
Yeah. So, when my hand was broken, I took some time off because it was my left hand. So I didn't think there was any real great reason to get better with my already dominant hand just without a left hand. Because in like 6 weeks, I was going to get my left hand back. So I just went to open mats and played around and did stupid stuff for like 6 to 8 weeks or whatever it was.
Yeah, but you didn't take really any time off.
Correct. Yeah, I took time off of like instruction and classes because I didn't see the point in trying to like figure out ways to like halfway do something and like kind of risk injury. I just played around and like floated my left hand way away and just never ever used it at all. Playfully, right? So that was like my time off, basically.
Yeah.
When my ears hurt really bad, I took like a week off.
Lame.
Yeah. Because you just weren't going to touch my head.
Yeah.
It was done.
Well, I mean, part of that is you probably shouldn't put your head out there so much to be touched.
It's a debate. That could be debated.
I don't think it could.
It could be debated. So like those times I have, and then the rest of the time, I would rather train, even though it like some things hurt.
Yeah. They're just hurting for sure. But what do you feel like from that the open mat experience, whenever you had your left hand broke, do you feel like you gained anything from that experience?
No.
Did you know?
There was like one position that came up a couple times where I was like, oh, that's cool. I never would have done that had I not broke my hand, and I never use it now because I have my hand back.
Okay.
Maybe there's like some unconscious like balance things that maybe I got a little bit better using my hips to like maintain a base or something without a left hand that I don't know I'm doing. But like there was no like giant takeaway because I still had my good hand. Like I feel like if I broke my right hand and I had to like be forced to do everything on my off side and I was using my left hand, that would have been a good opportunity to use my dumb side.
Mm-hmm.
Dumber.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting.
That was like my whole line of thinking is it's like I don't have a lot to gain here, but if I like do fall weird or somebody lands on my hand in a full class and now I'm out like another 6 weeks, that's a problem. So that's why I stayed away because there's like a real risk of making an injury worse.
Well, yeah, because if you displace the fracture, then you have surgery, then you have pins sticking out of your hand, then you're out.
So I didn't see any like the benefit was so small to like learn how to do things temporarily because it was like a break that like wasn't bad.
Yeah,
it was like it
was a boxer's fracture, right?
It hurt. But actually talking to Rich about it, he brought up a super good point. I don't know if I ever told you about it. But because I explained I was like, it was so weird how it happened because like there was like nothing really that happened, but then it all of a sudden like it just was like not working mid-match and like I couldn't grab anything, and then like it started hurting pretty good like towards the end of the match. And he was like, yeah, it was probably just like an accumulation of like the training beforehand, where like it was like already almost broken or whatever, like just impacts repeated, and then just like a nothing fall just like was too much.
Huh.
And
Okay.
I was like, that makes a lot of sense because like I was training a lot beforehand and pretty hard, and I took like 3 stupid injuries. And I don't mean like they were stupid in that like me or a training partner was doing something dumb, but like I would just bump knees.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
that's,
like, it
that
was
is stupid.
miserable.
Yeah.
But like looking back at it when he says that, I'm like, I feel like I could have like normally I would shake a lot of that stuff off, but it was just like a couple things.
Everything
all in a
cumulative.
row, just like was worse than it, maybe needed to be. And that was the first time I really did any like physical training too, because I was doing that bike stuff a lot, which was terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. You're right.
But that also is kind of what made me want to lift, because like I could tell mid-match I'm in a different shape than I normally am. Like, I'm normally in good grappling shape, but I'm not in like physically push myself past my normal grappling pace. So that was kind of what made me want to lift for whenever I do compete again. So
no, that makes sense. And that,
but
I
that,
mean,
like,
there's
injury,
a reason
that
why all
to that made sense. And I think I just pushed myself a little too, and it's so hard to figure that balance out. And it's always changing, probably because, I'm getting old.
You know what though? I mean, if you would have been wearing your whoop, you might have known with that heart rate variability, right? Because that's going to tell you more rest.
Dude, but even that stuff, like, I don't know, because that would tell me like I'm great today, and I would feel like trash. And then like there would be days I feel good and I wouldn't even really look, and I would look later and then I'd be like, oh, I'm supposed to be feeling like crap today. And then like I think I would be like, oh, maybe I do feel like crap.
But I
didn't like that.
I don't
know.
think that it's necessarily that. It's not feeling like crap. I mean, that's the whole rationale for that heart rate variability is they're known entities, and you're not fully recovered if it's not a certain value. So, I mean, I don't think they're saying, oh, you should feel like crap. I think they're just saying, oh, you shouldn't change. You can't go by the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
To shape your training.
Yeah, give me the chip though. I don't want to wear that thing anymore. Give me the chip and I'll do it.
You're gonna do a total social credit score just because you want the chip. That makes sense.
They'll only take the heart rate variability.
Yeah, of course they won't do anything else. Yeah, no, of course they won't. It's the government. I have a couple examples. I don't even remember why, because this has been a long time ago, but I remember playing opposite side half guard because I was hurt somehow, and I don't remember what hurt.
Yeah, you've had knee injuries. You've had the neck thing where you couldn't feel your hand.
Well, the neck thing was really good because I started getting a lot better at back control because I couldn't choke anybody because I couldn't really make a grip with my hand, and I couldn't really reach around to get let's say I couldn't get my arm across the neck to choke people. So I just focused on getting the back and then maintaining the back because I just couldn't choke I couldn't choke anybody to do it. So that helped.
That was for what, like 4.5 years?
No, thanks to Matt Crandall, that was only for like a month.
I meant the not choking people part.
Yeah, I know what you meant, Phil. Okay. Smart ass. It was only for like a month. It was probably a month and a half.
And you mostly did like that, right?
Yeah.
Like
so the exercise, Matt Crandall gave me some exercises to do. He also did the dry needling.
With the shocking?
Yeah. Yeah. So they stick needles in the affected area, and then he hooks electrodes up to it and shocks you till it hurts beyond belief, and then it loosens the muscles, and you do some certain things, exercises a day. And he made an analogy about a jelly donut and your disc space, and
I've heard the jelly donut analogy.
Yes, yeah, it pushes.
It's a good one. I get that one.
I love jelly donuts.
Yeah.
So,
when's the last time you had a jelly donut?
Oh, 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Any donut.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have not had a donut at all of any sort since you started?
Nope.
Because you had a couple cookies.
I did have a couple
you didn't
cookies.
Even like them.
I didn't like them. They were terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a waste.
I know. It can feel that way sometimes.
It was a total waste.
And then sometimes when I'm eating them and I don't like them, I'm like, one more, just make sure it's not that good. And then I eat like 8 of them and I'm like, they weren't even good. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes.
So yeah, I mean, I think that training, you gotta gauge your own body. You gotta pay attention to the cues of your own body. But a lot of things, you can benefit from a lot of things. Again, my back control benefited, my back takes benefited from that injury directly. And the other thing is, if you are injured and you can't go to class, you can still go to class. You can still go watch the techniques. You might get a little different perspective from watching everybody else. You might gain a little perspective from the instruction where you were worried about steps 1, 2, and 3 and couldn't get step 4. You might get something from that. So I would say if you're really out and you're taking time off, don't take time off. Just go and show support. Go watch some fundamentals class. Go watch some sparring. It's going to be great stuff. Go, take notes. If a lot of times you can't or you don't take notes after the class. Like now it's the perfect time. You can go in, take notes of things that you would not normally see or do, and have a new perspective on training. But yeah, I think just being around jiu-jitsu is important to continue the training habit and to not get off of your schedule that you normally have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at some point you just have to realize like you're going to be sore. So like it's going to happen. If you're only going to train when you're not sore and like feeling really good, it's just going to be
you're never going to train.
It's going to be hard to do. And it gets better over time. And I don't know, like it's been rare that I've been like in enough discomfort to where I'm like, yeah, it's not worth going in. Because it's just something I want to do and learn and figure out through it. Most things aren't that bad, and they're especially not that bad once you're doing it.
Right.
It's worse like thinking about it and stuff. And like once you're moving around and everything, you're fine.
And two, if it's just soreness,
and you drive home and you're like, oh,
yeah, if it's
fucked up. But other than that, you're good the whole time.
Yeah,
just never leave. Actually,
yeah, that's right. Fine. You're right. Like the sorest I've been was after Joey's takedown class because we did like 7,000 split squats. And if you don't know what a split squat is, look it up. It's a terrible exercise and probably really good for you. And so I was super sore, and that was on a Thursday. I was really sore. I still went to open mat Friday, and you feel better when you're on the mat, but then when you get off, you're still super sore again.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, I went over to headquarters for open mat. Same thing. Like, feels great when you're back on it. I'm like, oh, I'm not sore anymore. I'm moving around and everything. And as soon as you get done, drive home, can barely get out of the car. But so, there's different ways to deal with that. I would also say if you're not at least doing a little bit of supplementation to mitigate that soreness and inflammation, I mean, right? Anything that's soreness is based upon
salsa.
That's not really mitigating soreness.
Daily.
No.
Before bed.
It's definitely not what I'm talking about, Phil.
Okay.
Talking about, turmeric, natural supplements, right? Turmeric, ginger, things that you can do, krill oil, stuff that you can do for joint lubrication as well as anti-inflammatory, which is what the turmeric and ginger are.
What is this here?
The same thing as that there.
Like, what is this, like, bone that's just here now? I don't
That's the same thing as there. I don't know. There's
just
weird little things that pop on.
It's like an extra, like, part of my finger.
I mean, that's...
And it's getting bigger.
Yeah, so that's what happens in jiu-jitsu is you grow extra things on your fingers. Phil's got one on his middle finger, which he promptly is presenting to me. And I've got one on my pinky finger.
But I don't have it on any other fingers.
Not as great. Is it your right hand?
Yeah.
It's always the right hand. Yeah.
It's odd though. It never hurt. It's not sore. It literally feels like my bone is bigger in this spot. Like it's that hard.
Well, it probably is, because if you're making a grip and you're constantly here with that lapel, you're constantly on that point of contact, it's going to make just like getting kicked in the shins, make your shins more dense, the bones in your shins more dense.
Is that true?
That is true.
I thought you just like stopped feeling it after a while.
No, that's why they call it shin conditioning. Like when people kick the, whatever, the metal bar or whatever they do, it actually physically makes your tibia more dense and your bone grow more dense.
Oh, I kick the coffee table sometimes. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's not nearly enough though.
No.
Yeah.
Once every 6 months.
That's not helping. Not helping at all. Anything else on like training injured or?
How bad do you want it, man? That's it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. My ears hurt really bad, so sometimes I get it. I'm just gotta take a week off. Take a week off. Yeah.
When have you taken a week off?
Well, my ear was really bad.
When was that?
2018 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think you were just a little baby about your ears because they puffed up really fast.
They did. It hurt really bad.
Yeah.
But then it was okay.
Okay. Right. Because they just got all solid.
That week.
You did not want it bad. That was 2018. That's a lifetime ago. Who cares?
So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a hard topic, but I'm basically a doctor. So
yeah, listen, folks, go to your medical professional first.
No, we got you.
Don't. And here's another thing, and I'm so guilty of it. Like, but it's like you don't ask your. I mean, you can ask your training partner, but you're like, oh, I heard this. What did you do? Everybody's done something different. They rub dirt on it or something. Just I don't even know. You should probably do more than look it up on the internet too.
Yeah, I would stay away from the internet.
I love looking stuff up on the internet.
Same. Probably not good though.
Probably not.
I was
terrible advice. Listen, I think we've said it before
recently, where it's like it shows the guy talking to his doctor about his injuries, and then here's me ignoring everything he said.
Yes, that's kind of the way it is.
I just want to know how bad this is before I ignore everything you say.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we've said it before, but we really don't know much about much. So don't take our advice really on anything, but especially not when it comes to your own body.
Yeah, I mean, like when I had the broken hand, I could have made it a lot worse, but I just kind of trained with people that I trusted not to like go ape shit. And I just played around and, tried not to get too sweaty because I couldn't change my cast and that was gross. And, it is what it is.
And you ended up cutting the cast off.
Also not advised.
Couple weeks early.
Yeah. It was getting annoying. It didn't hurt that bad.
I mean, I'm sure you know better than orthopedic doctor that looked at it. Yeah, I mean,
it's all big cast company. They just wanted more cast to be sold.
Yeah, everybody knows about the big cast lobby.
Yeah, well, I do remember going into the doctor though, and at some point, and I was like, because like my hand started feeling so much better, because like I didn't know it was broken for like a week,
right?
For sure, because I had to like go to different places or whatever. And by the time I got in there and I was like able to kind of open my hand and close it again, and I was like, was I just being a pussy?
Yeah.
Did I just follow my hand weird? And
probably not.
Like,
Yeah, you weren't.
And then they were like, it's broken. I was like, oh, thank God. I thought I was pussy. But like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. And it never really, other than like the first like 2 or 3 days, it didn't really hurt. And actually, dude, the Epsom salt like when I soaked that,
it's
my
good.
hand
Yeah.
in that those first couple of days, that took so much of that throbbing away.
Listen, top tip: Epsom salts are great.
Tylenol once, maybe twice. Was I got rid of that?
Epsom salts. If you were very sore, I should have done that after Joey's takedown class.
Yeah,
I didn't do that. Man, I kicked myself in the ass for that. But Epsom salts, yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's like the same. Probably.
Yeah, but the Epsom salts gets the magnesium back in your body. That's the real.
Yeah, I feel like you're only gonna take away so much soreness, though.
I don't know, man. It's. I've been super sore and gotten the best.
You know who takes baths like 5 times a week?
No,
Scott. You know what he does? Nothing. It's mind blowing. He just takes baths all the time. I'm like,
some people prefer that.
What are you recovering from? Sleep?
Like he slept wrong. He slept bad on his neck, so he has to take a bath.
He take like an hour and a half bath and just like watch YouTube videos and stuff, and just like does nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to each their own. All right, Philly. Let's wrap this up. Tell the folks if they choose to support us how they can do so.
Yeah, support the sponsors.
Yeah, all the sponsors.
Shout out to those guys again. Thank you for the support, and share the podcast with your friends.
Yeah, share, like, subscribe. And if you're not out there doing something to make yourself better each and every day, get out there and do it. Phil and I choose jiu-jitsu. We hope you do too.
I'm about to feed them to the sharks right now. Get them hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.